Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, we got another absolutely fantastic show coming your way. And we got a guest that's on today's show that I say this young lady has done a little of everything. I mean, beauty queen, singer, uh, radio talk show host. I mean, everything. Writer. Uh, love the Lord. That's the most important thing. You know, loving the Lord. I tell you, it's just an absolute pleasure having her on the show today because what we're going to talk about a lot of times, we have takes us a while to figure out what we want to do in life. Sometimes we think that we know what we want to do, but we try a lot of different things and we don't always hit what I call jackpot until one of these days you walking or you're doing something, you get this, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. This young lady is going to bring some excitement, some enlightenment, and also inspirational on that you can do anything that you set your mind to. But you gotta want to. You can't do unless you want to. So Michelle, I'm excited about this guest today. How you doing, Dr. Cooley? How you doing today?
I am great. I am great. Sometimes, and you took that from me, that aha moment. I always said that. You do have that aha moments like it kind of hits you and say, okay, this is what I need to do. But the point is how to start doing it, like where to begin, because you can have all these ideas, you can have a revelation, and you can be guided on how to do something, but you also have to get your ducks in a row. You have to get your mindset right. You have to get a lot of factors into consideration. So we're definitely interested in hearing what this amazing guest has to say. And you're right, she is multi-talented, and it's like, wow, she has done it all, and her biography does not do her justice, but I'm going to summarize it as best as I can. Okay, Dr. Cooley. So the title of the show is Create the Lifestyle That You Deserve. You Can Begin Again. So we're having a sit-down discussion with Dr. Tamirah Leigh Terry. She is an entrepreneur, minister, keynote speaker, media host, and founder and CEO of Tamirah Leigh Lifestyle Design, LLC. We're going to discuss the concept about where do you start, who qualifies, and why someone would want to begin again, and discuss when is a good time to start over and how do you accomplish this. So as I said before, this amazing guest is multi-talented, so I'm just kind of summarize who she is. So this is in the first person. I am the mom of 5 adult children and 6 grandchildren. I was born and raised in Chicago, but currently reside in a suburb of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a minister of the Gospel for Christ Abundant Love Ministries, headquartered out of Mount Vernon, New York. I'm the Southeast Global Ambassador for Beauty for Ashes Global Women's Ministry, and I'm the CEO and founder of Tamirah Leigh Lifestyle Design, LLC. In 2016, I received an honorary platinum album for outstanding vocals in my collaboration with Darryl Rolock on his Solidify album, part of my church's worship team and worship leader Frontline for 20 years, and also penned 6 songs for the church worship CD. I was voted one of the top 40 Sheroes and Women of Dignity in 2022, received the Woman of Distinction Award in 2022 and 2023, made appearances on the Kingdom One live show on Channel 57 with Deborah Asbury. She's been a radio co-host to her cousin, Tony Terry, on the In the Zone show on My Fusion Radio. And she's volunteered as a fundraiser during her reign as Miss Illinois for Jerry Lewis, Jerry's Kids for Muscular Dystrophy, and she has done so many more. So please, audience, welcome to the show, Dr. Tamirah Leigh Terry.
How you doing, Dr. Terry? How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you guys
Dr.
for having me today. I really appreciate it.
It's an absolute pleasure. Been looking forward to this ever since we had a discussion, I think about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Hey, Dr. Terry, can you tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit more about you? I know you grew up in Chicago. I know you're doing a lot of other things, but can you tell them a little bit about Dr. Tamirah Leigh Terry?
Absolutely. But before I go there, I just want to thank you and your beautiful wife, for having me on your show today. I want to thank my pastors who are present and all my family and friends who are tuning in today. So thank you for that. Growing up in Chicago was great for me. I had great parents, great grandparents, and just great family. And my dad always tried to make things really interesting for us. He really loved traveling. So the highlight, I think, was when he bought an RV, and everywhere we'd go, we'd be able to travel in style, so to say. We didn't have to stop to the bathroom, at the gas station. We had an RV, so we could, finish our trip with fewer stops. But we got to see a lot of this country and just appreciate the beauty of it, and what God had done in His creation of it, going through the mountains. This has been a beautiful thing.
So, Dr. Terry, if you had to sum it up in one word that describes you, what word would that be and why?
I would say believer, and that is because the core of who I am is a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ, and everything that I do is purposeful, and stems from my belief, and Him being the foundation of my belief. So I would have to say believer.
Oh, yeah. Can you tell us about your company, Tamirah Leigh Lifestyle Design LLC? I know our listeners and our viewers, wherever they are watching this at, over, you know, whether it's on Transfer Television, E360 TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, and over 35 other live
Mhm.
streaming networks are locked into, just discovering all the things that you're doing. So, can you talk about your company?
Mhm. Absolutely. Tamirah Lifestyle Design is a lifestyle design consulting company. So basically, what I do is kind of act as a guide or an assistant to help people create the lifestyles that they deserve. We know that the Word of God tells us that we are to have life and have life more abundantly. And sometimes walking into the abundant part of it, people are a little bit nervous about, or they don't really know how to get from point A to point B. So that's where I come in. My services are basically built on things that I enjoyed doing before I turned it into a business. I enjoyed cooking, so I became a self taught chef, and now I do meal prep, I do small catered parties. I did event design, so I can do weddings. Birthday parties, baby showers, just about any type of event that anybody wants. I love homes to be beautiful and comfy. So I will design spaces, whether it's home, office, TV and movie sets, and as well as in conferences as well. So I am there to help people along the way to decide what it is they want to do, and then lay a roadmap of how to get to from point A to point B.
So that's a lot of different things, a lot of different points. So is your company primarily based in Atlanta, or do you do business in other states or around the world? Or can you talk about that a little bit?
Mhm. I do. I do. I am originally from Chicago, so I still have ties there. And I am affiliated with New York as well now. So if there's something going on there, I'm definitely available for New York. But yes, I am doing things in Atlanta as well, and hope to expand to other locations as well. But with the internet, you pretty much can go anywhere, even, internationally if need be, because you can use software like these types of programs to be able to conduct business that way as well. Sometimes you can just do things virtually.
So the title of the show, can you tell our viewers and listeners why you chose the title of the show, Creating a Lifestyle That You Deserve? Is it
Hmm.
about something that a lot of people choose their own lifestyle in the beginning, or they don't know what they want to do, but eventually, just like we talked about, you figure it out because I believe that whatever
Mhm.
you are supposed to do, whatever your purpose is, it's already within you. You just have to find it. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. That is really the truth. Our motto is creating lifestyles that people deserve, and we like to make things comfy as well as cozy for people. But I did a subtitle to this one, and it was "You Can Begin Again," and that's basically like you said. The purposes that God put on the inside of us, they're there, but sometimes people don't discover what they are. I usually will tell, like a parent, if they're ever wondering what their child's vocation is or where their child's talents lie, it usually comes in the child's playtime. When you watch them playing, you see them gravitating towards certain things. And when you see that going on, that's a key indication that maybe perhaps it's something that they should nurture and see where that's going, because that could definitely be one of the purposes that God put into that child's life. And even with us, a lot of people discover their purpose later in life. And sad to say, some people never discover their purpose, but it's there. As you said, God placed them on the inside of us. He had an intention of what we were to become before He created us and put us in our mother's wombs. So it is my job to help people discover what those things are, and it's relatively easy. For most people, it's the thing that you would do if you weren't getting paid to do it. It's just something that you enjoy doing. At some point, it might have been a hobby of yours, but that would definitely be a key indication of something that you should look into. Is perhaps maybe this is what your purpose is.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. You know, Tamirah, we're going to take a stinking break, but I can't wait to get back to pick up this important topic and delve a little bit deeper inside. And I tell you what, whichever platform you're watching this on or listening to it on, whether it's listening on radio KCBQ, AM 1170, the answer out of San Diego, FM 96.1, the answer. Uh, Tell you, all you have to do is just go to the comments. Ask this great guest any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. Is your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and we got Dr. Terry here just telling us about some of the things that her organization is doing, and I tell you, she's doing a lot. One of the things she didn't tell you, she didn't mention nothing about her music and all of those great things that she's doing as well. And just like I said, this woman is amazing, talented, and doing a lot of different things. So wherever you're watching this at, if you want to be part of the conversation, all you got to do is just go to the comments. I see we got lots and lots of people watching. Why don't you become part of the conversation? Dr. T, before we get started, I want to show our viewers and our listeners a short video that you sent. Here we go.
Sure. Thank you.
Wow. Each one of those combined clips was absolutely wonderful, especially when you had that
Thank
good
you.
food. So hey, talk about that a little bit. How did you come up with all of these different concepts and was able to combine them into it's something that turned out to be an absolutely wonderful product?
Well, like I said before, they've always been things that I have enjoyed doing. I've always enjoyed fixing up homes and cooking and entertaining and doing things of that nature. So that's where all of that comes into, because lifestyle is going to be different for everybody. These are just things that fit into my lifestyle. These are things that I enjoy doing. So I decided to combine them all and make them a business, and then just expand that by sharing those things with other people that maybe needed help in those areas. And sometimes people do. I mean, it comes naturally to me because that's what God has purposed in me to do. But sometimes people say, I have one friend that every time I go to Chicago, she says, okay, the season has changed. I want you to come over and I want you to change up my kitchen for me and put the scheme together, or change up my living room. She says, because I don't know how you do it, but you just know how to do it. It just comes natural for me. But that doesn't mean because it comes natural that I don't continue learning and becoming more creative at what I do. You never want to keep it the same. As the times are changing, you have to be able to gain more knowledge so that you can withstand the competition of what else is out there. But that's how I came up with it. It's just the things that I enjoy doing.
So, Dr. Terry, who qualifies? How would you put this? Who qualifies in creating their own desirable lifestyle, and where do they begin?
Who who qualifies for I'm
Yeah, I'm
sorry, you
talking about the
said who
person that
qualifies? I was
okay,
having a little trouble hearing you.
the person that is wanting to create a different type of lifestyle from what they already had, um,
Mhm.
and how would they go about beginning? I know they can call you, but I'm talking, first of all, I believe there had to be a mindset somewhere that change is inevitable. You have to want to change.
Mhm.
So how would a person go about reinventing themselves?
Mhm. Well, I think that one of the things that they would need to do is just as because I'm going to take you all the ways back to how God ordained it to be. And in Habakkuk, the book of Habakkuk in the Old Testament of the Bible, chapter 2, verses 2 through 3, he tells us to write the vision down and make it plain. So the first place you want to go, because you might have a bunch of ideas coming to you, but we've got to make a roadmap and a blueprint of how to get from point A to point B. So what we're going to do is we're going to write those things down some of the things that, just like kind of like brainstorming the things down that you want to do. And then after we decide what it is that you're trying to do, then we have to develop a method of what's going to take you there. For some people, it's going to mean that you need to go back to school and get more education, or it might mean that you need to do some type of internship with a company or something in the field that you want to go into, just so you can get more knowledge and more experience. And so, but that's where you're going to start. And then you mentioned about the mindset. With your mindset, you're definitely going to have to change the way that you think, because you're going to move in the direction of what you're thinking about. So you want to be able to have those the thoughts that you have, the imaginations that you have, line up with what you're saying and what your actions that are applied to that. Because it's one thing to have a thought, but if you just have a thought and you never have any actions and your words don't line up, your thoughts are basically just going to become figments of your imagination. God gave us our imaginations, for us to be able to confirm in our minds those dreams that he's putting there. He's the one who put these desires and put these things on the inside of us for us to be able to bring these things out. But to nurture those things, we're going to have to change how we're thinking, change what we're saying, and the actions that are being applied to those thoughts and those words.
I believe that each one of us, we all have what I call birthrights. And birthrights are confidence, courage, hope, belief, most importantly, faith. And having faith and hope, I believe that you can really find out yourself. You can refocus your mind, refocus the things that you are supposed to be doing, and you can also find your purpose. But I believe that one must have a mindset where they are willing to dig deep inside to discover
Yes.
who they really are. Yeah. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. If we go to the book of Romans in the New Testament in chapter 12, he tells us that we are supposed to renew our minds daily. It's not something that happens overnight. It's not something that you can do one time. It is work, and it is a daily process. It is basically you policing your own mind, your own self, to purposely make sure that you're focusing on the things that you need to be focusing on and getting rid of those things that are hindrances. So as you do that, your mindset is going to change. And one of the best ways to change your mindset is to renew it by seeing what God said about you, what he wrote about you in his written word. There it's really something how God says that the children of this world are wiser than the children of light. And you can kind of see that because, see, the world doesn't embrace the person of Jesus or the person of God, but they do embrace his principles. And that's why they're so successful, because, see, God's principles, their law, they're going to work no matter who works them. It's just like gravity. Gravity works for everybody. What goes up must come down. Unless you're on the moon, that's a special exception to the rule. But you could go up in a plane, but eventually that plane has to land. A hot air balloon has to land if it runs out of fuel or whatever it's using to go up. So with that being said, God's principles are law, and they work no matter who's working them. And you see people online, you see people starting businesses saying, I'm going to teach you how to do uh, affirmations so that you can manifest. You hear a lot about that. But here we are with the one who designed all of this and has given us the roadmap to show us how to do it. He tells us in Joshua 1:8, he tells us in Psalm 103 that we're to meditate on his word. And how often are we supposed to do this? Day and night, because that is how we renew. Thoughts are going to constantly come every day. Like I said, it's not a one-time occasion or occurrence where you're going to change your mind and it's going to stick. You're going to have challenges. And when the challenges come, you have to have built up the ability to say, I'm going to take this thought or I'm not going to take this thought. You know, you don't want to take thoughts that are negative or contrary to where it is you're trying to go or where you see yourself going, because that does affect your faith. That's why he tells us, take no thought saying. You know, you take the thought, the next thing is going to be you saying that out of your mouth. And what you say out of your mouth is going to frame the world that you're trying to create yourself, or create that lifestyle that you deserve. So that's what we want to do. You want to renew your mind daily with the word of God and affirm yourself by what he has already said about you. That is going to help you change your mindset.
What would you say to a person that are having major challenges with their mindset? They are this way today, and that way tomorrow, and flip-flopping, and cannot maintain a clear mind or identify a way forward on what they need to be doing. What would you tell a person that are flip-flopping like that? And how would you give them advice to kind of get them constant and straight with a positive mindset?
Mm-hmm. I would tell them, I would give them, scripturally speaking, I would give them the positive outcome of the flip side of what it is that they're experiencing, or what they're battling, and what they want to say, as opposed to what they should be saying. And I would advise them to commit it to memory, write it down, stick it on the mirror, look in the mirror at yourself, and, you know, affirm what you're saying about you, or what you're saying about your situation. And every time that thought comes, take that thought captive by reversing what the thought says and saying the positive aspect of that. Because see, your mind is just like how it would be if you had clay on a potter's wheel and you were making that clay into a cup or a bowl. You're going to decide the direction that you want to take this thought. If you allow the thought to stay planted there, then it's going to materialize and produce exactly what you're thinking about. But every time thoughts come to you, you don't have to take that thought. You come back and combat the thought by what is written and what you have been affirming. That is what you're going to do. And that is what is going to consistently help you change your mindset. And before you know it, you're going to be moving in a direction now of the things that you're thinking about, the things that are going to help you stay focused and in the right frame of mind.
Wow. You know, yes, being in the right frame of mind is so important to each and every last one of us. And I believe that everything that you're saying is true. That's why faith in the Lord is so important, but also faith in yourself. I mean, you have to have confidence in who you are, confidence in who you are, that you can do anything that you set your mind to. No, we're going to take a station break. But if you want to be part of this great conversation, all you have to do is go to the platform that you're watching or listening to it on. You can ask this great guest of mine any question that you might have. I promise you I'll get it on the screen. Yes, your life, and we'll see you shortly after the commercial.
I never wanna leave. Yeah, I'm right where I wanna be. We got something you and me, and I can't get rid of this feeling. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can be taken for granted. Now I know that it has always been you. I can't help it, I'm so drawn to you. Just like
Hello, I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley from the United States of America, and I am here to just say, first of all, I'm so happy and honored to be on it, to be in the Coffee Book 2023, Unified Brain Z and the other organizations. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this collection. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show, and my absolutely wonderful guest here, Dr. Terry, is telling us a lot of things on what we need to do, or not what we would need to do, but things that will encourage us to have a different mindset, especially if you're trying to change the path that you are currently on because you're not happy with it. And but the best way to do that, just like she said, is through our Lord Jesus Christ. Yeah. And let him guide us and let him teach us. But you still have to want to. You have to have the right mindset. And you have to understand when the Lord is guiding and teaching and showing. We have to be cognitive enough, and we have to be open-minded enough to let him in. So Dr. Tay, you want to pick up on that?
Yes, you definitely have to trust him in everything that you do and understand that it is part of his plan for the things that he put inside of you. He wants you to fulfill those things more than you want to fulfill those things. And he has the master plan to show you the shortest way to get from point A to point B without having to spin your wheels along the way to get there. And so, just being practical, a lot of times we're not hearing him clearly. And that's why sometimes we can either miss it or it takes us a little bit longer to get to where we're trying to go. But once we acknowledge that he is a part of what we're doing and that we only want to do it the way he would have us to do it, then it's so much easier. He's the one who said, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light." We're the ones that make it hard.
And we do because we sometimes are not open. So I know we touched on this. Are there any negative or limiting belief that may be holding someone back, from letting go yesterday and accepting today? Because we cannot live in the past. If you live in the past, you find yourself, I believe, walking back in the past. And one thing that when you find yourself walking back in the past, sooner or later, you're going to figure out that you're in the past. And I believe that sometimes we figure out that we're in the past, we turn around once we figure that out and start running back to where we started from. But guess what? We're still in the past because time did not stop. How can a person, you know, understands that things that happened yesterday is just things that happened yesterday. Our focus is today, but we have to prepare for tomorrow. Can you pick it up there?
Hmm. As you were talking, what came to me is, I guess that's why he tells us to forget about those things which are in the past, and press towards the mark of what's before us. Because a lot of times people like to revert back to the past because the past is a comfort zone. The past is familiar to them. And going into the future can be uncharted territory. It can be scary because you don't have the answers to know what to do next. So I think that, as you mentioned before, it's a faith walk. We walk by faith and not by sight. So, and each day you're going to take one step towards your goal. It's not, I think people get scared because it can seem like it's far off looking at the future. But if you take it one day at a time, it doesn't mean that you're not being prepared to meet the future. But realistically, you can't jump 30 years ahead, 20 years ahead and make something happen. You're in the right now. So you're going to deal with what you have right now. As the word also tells us, sufficient unto this day is its own set of circumstances that you have to deal with, is its own evil, even that you have to deal with. So you're going to make preparation for the future, but you're not going to get into stress and anxiety, all caught up into the what ifs about the future. You do your part and what you need to be doing to prepare, and God's going to do all the rest. So that's the thing. A lot of times we like to sit back and say, well, I'm just waiting on God to do it. God has done everything that he's going to do. Now it's time to trust him with the plan and walk it out. And just like how we have a child and they're learning to ride the bike for the very first time without the training wheels on, parents are usually standing in the back where the child can't even see them. And before they know it, the parents have let go and the child is riding the bike. And they look back and they're like, wow, doing this. I'm actually doing this. The thing that I didn't think I could do, I'm doing it. And sometimes it's like that with us and God. God is saying, I've equipped you to do everything that you need to do, and I've given you everything that you need. What does the word tell us? I've given you everything, not some things, right? Everything that pertains to life and to godliness. So I think that's the other thing. We have to question ourselves about the motives for what we want to do. Why do you want that, to create that lifestyle that you feel that you deserve? What's your motive behind that? Are you going to do it for the glory of God? Are you going to do it to help his kingdom? Are you going to do it to inspire other people? Are you going to do it to help people financially? Or is it all about you and self-gain? I'm always remember, it is the Lord your God who gives you the power to get wealth. Why? To establish his covenant on this earth through us. The world isn't going to do it. We as believers have to do it. So that's the purpose of why he wants to put it in our hands. But we have to trust him with his plan, do it according to his plan and his will, and walk that out daily. And then everything else will, take place when it's supposed to take place. As long as we're not, you know, doing all these other things that prevent it. We don't understand, a lot of times we're the problem. We're the ones that hinder us. It's not that God doesn't want to give it to us, it's us. And so it's okay to have a self-check. Just like you sit down at a board meeting and you go over the plans, they're the ones that, like I said, they use the principles of God. They sit down, have a board meeting. They call it a projection over the year. Let's analyze where we're at. Let's analyze where we want to be in the future. And let's analyze the steps that we need to take to get there. We need to do the same thing, take inventory over our lives, analyze where we're at. And the Father will help us do that, as he said he would. Everything that he told us that he would do to be there with us, to help us, he will do it. But we have to be listening. We have to be obedient, and we have to be willing to do the work. It's not going to fall out of the sky. We have to be willing to do the work.
We have to be willing to do the work because If he said he's going to do it, he's going to do it. So Tamirah, is there any skills or knowledge gap that a person need to develop to move closer and to move forward to their desirable lifestyle?
Perhaps there is. I mean, if it's an area that's uncharted by you, you might need to go back to school to get some training. And if you can't afford to go back to school, you might have to work a job that provides an internship where you can learn from people the skills that are required to do what it is that you want to do. And, I always tell people, God always gives us everything that we need. Right now, we have access to so much information via the internet. YouTube is a wonderful source of people finding out different things and how they're being done. Google is another source. And then we have all of these social media groups that allow people to join, like interest groups that, might cater to the areas that you're looking for, where you can get help from people that are doing it. You might have a question for them, and most of them are willing to answer you and help you, on your journey. So yes, the question, to answer the question, it is yes. You may have to delay just, getting right into what you're trying to do because you need to get a little bit more formal training or education.
So when is a good time to start over and jump on that journey?
That's a very good question. And I get that all the time. People always want to know, well, or they'll make comments and say, well, it's too late for me. I'm too old, or I don't have enough money. Those are usually the two things that, stop people from walking into what they want to do. But to answer the question, it's never too late as long as you have breath in your body, you have a will that's committed to do the work, and your mind is intact. I mean, if you're physically can do it, then yes, it's never too late to start over again. Or sometimes it's not just about starting over. You might just want to add, like, if you have a brand or something, it might be another area that you want to introduce to your brand, or you want to develop multiple streams of income. There's nothing wrong with being multi-talented and having multiple streams of income. So you can, do a variety of different things, but it's never too late to start over again. It's never too late to reinvent yourself, and you have everything that you need to get started.
And you're absolutely right. It's never too late to start over. It's just like I said, sometimes we're walking and it might not be in the beginning of our life, might be midlife, or might be, a little later. But as I mentioned, sometimes God plants in our head and we get aha, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Let me refocus. Let me start over. Let me understand the building blocks on what's going to prepare that, first of all, God purpose for you and what you want to do as well. We got to take a station break.
Right.
But if you want to be part of the conversation, whichever platform that you're on, all you have to do, just go to the comments, asking the question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. And as you see, my outstanding guest is really educating us and really bringing it. And I'm just hoping that I see we got lots and lots of people tuning in, watching, and listening. I hope you take some of this in, because many of us, we can't be happy with where we at. I mean, we can't be. Because we're not applying ourselves. Sometimes it takes courage to change, accept change, move toward a different perspective on things. And I believe that Dr. Terry is giving us some insight on how to go about doing those types of things, how to have a renewing of the mind, how to pick up your cross and carry it daily. Yeah, you have to renew the mind. You have to pick it up and carry it daily. Just kind of like, I believe, taking a shower. You have to take a shower at least one time a day. Yeah. I mean, in order to stay clean. And our mind have to be clean as well in things that we do. So I'm really enjoying this conversation, Dr. Tara. And just want to pick it up with that. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm kind of piggybacking still off of the last question before we went to the commercial break. I was just reminded that in Book of Revelation, it tells us that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the words of our testimony, and it's our testimonies that we share that encourage other people that the things that we have done, they can do as well and continue to fulfill the dreams that they have. I was reminded that Colonel Sanders, everybody know who Colonel Sanders is. He's the one who started Kentucky Fried Chicken. He didn't start Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was in his 60s. And if you look at the cleaner, one of the cleaners that I've used over the years, for the bathroom and stuff, is Formula 409. If you're familiar with Formula 409, it got its name because 408 times the formula didn't work for its creator, but it worked on the 409th time. Now, suppose they had quit at 408, we wouldn't have Formula 409. So I say that to say, continue to renew your mind on a daily basis. The shower once a day was a good scenario. You just like you're showering to clean your body physically, you've got to clean out the cobwebs out of your mind on a daily basis, sometimes several times a day. Sometimes the enemy won't let up. You'll be bombarded. Some days are, rougher than others, or you're bombarded by a lot of thoughts. But you've got to police your thoughts. You have got to be your own police and police those thoughts. And that's the only way truly that you're going to change your mindset, by changing the way you think, by thinking about yourself the way that God thinks about you. Then you're going to see those things that you've been believing for come to pass.
You're absolutely right. And so, that's why I mentioned birthrights, confidence, courage, hope, belief, most importantly. But I also think that in order for us to really do things and get focused, first of all, during a lot of my speeches, I apply what we call the 4 C's. And the 4 C's are create, collaborate, commit with confidence. I'm going to say that one more time. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. What I mean by create is the vision, the thoughts that we have. Okay? Vision and thoughts that we have every day. And it's like, I want to do these things. I can't, but then we can't see past the tip of our nose, but we have vision. We have to be able to see past those roadblocks. Collaborate. I believe that when we are stuck, we're not being able to see our vision clearer. And, we dream big, have to dream big. Sometimes we have to bring others in, to collaborate and tell them what our thoughts are, and not worry about them laughing at us or whatever that is, because it's your dreams. So create, collaborate. Once you talk with them about it, you might find out there's a lot of folks out there thinking the same way that you are thinking. And that if you guys work together, you guys can create things together. But then it comes down to commitment.
Mm-hmm.
It's like starting over, getting out the past. A lot of people are afraid to commit because they don't know what's going to happen, which is unknown. We never know what's going to happen. So when you commit, you have to commit with confidence. You have to know that, hey, I'm changing. I got a new attitude. I want to start over. This is what I want to do. This is what I should do. I'm gonna listen to the Lord. I'm gonna listen to surround yourself with people that you trust. That's going to help you get where you need to get to. And I believe if you realize these 4 C's: create, collaborate, commit with confidence, is create what we call the big C. And the big C is character. Person, character is you. And I believe that we all want good character, great character, but we have to be able to change and utilize these tools that you're talking about, that I'm talking about, in order to propel ourselves to the next level. Got the better part of 2.5 minutes. What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Terry?
I agree with everything that you just said. But I really think that the thing about it is it's not easy. And we live in a microwave society where everybody wants quick, everybody wants easy. And if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And that's what sets the people that do have that commitment and that character apart from the ones that don't, because it takes a lot to be disciplined. It takes a lot to police yourself, your thoughts, your actions, your words, your habits. It takes a lot. And that's what sets people who make it apart from the other ones sometimes that quit and give up, because it's not that they don't want it, but they don't want to work to get to that place. In scripture, it tells us before someone builds a house, you have to first count the cost. And it's nice to go look at the model home and see how nice it is and pretty, and you can see yourself, envision yourself living there. But how many people take the time to say, I'm going to be disciplined, I'm going to set aside this amount of money every month for my down payment, I'm going to work some overtime, and I'm going to commit for the next year of putting aside this for my dream home. A lot of people don't do those kind of things. So that is why we see some people that come into, and the thing about it is, when you do come into what it is you have been believing God for to get to that level, everybody thinks it happens overnight for you. They don't understand the toil and the nights you stayed up and you prayed and sometimes even cried and didn't understand why things went the way they did. A lot of times they just think that just came naturally or it was just given to you. But the criteria is you're going to have to stay in it if you want to win it, and you're going to have to dig in and not give up. And then you will truly see it come to pass. But you can't lose hope. You can't take your eyes, and you can't take a day off. Sometimes people say, well, I'm just going to take a day off. I'm exhausted. I need a vacation from this. I'm just going to take a day off. But you know what? We have an enemy who never takes a day off. He doesn't take a day off. It may seem like he takes a day off because he is not omnipotent. He can't be everywhere all the time like, our Father can. But while he's not messing with us, he's messing with somebody else. He doesn't take a day
Wow,
off, and what he
you're
comes
absolutely
to
right.
do
We
to
out of time right
steal.
now, but we out of time.
Yeah.
Real quickly, if
Okay.
somebody wanted to get in touch with you, how could they get in touch with you? Real
Yes.
quickly.
My website is tlifestyledesign.com. That's T as in Tom, L as in Larry, lifestyledesign.com. And you can go there, and all of my links are there.
Wow. Dr. Tara, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the James Cooley Show. It's your life. It's been an absolute pleasure having you as a guest. I'd like to thank my great, wonderful wife,
Thank you.
Dr. Michelle Cooley, for putting together another absolutely wonderful show. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for taking the time to tune into the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I want you to always believe in yourself, always dream big, think big, and be big at everything that you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Is your life. We'll see you then.